Hi my friend, week 42 of the Margarete Miller Collage Challenge, and this week's postcard and short story are truly different and a bit crazy. I cannot wait to read your comment about this week's creation. Join me if you want to find out more, and let's get crafting together. This week's collage is a truly crazy crafting adventure for me, but let's start at the beginning. As always, I'm using a 4x6 index card as the base of my collage and the 5 prompts from Margarete Miller. So something associated with a specific time of day, a famous person, a rubber stamping in blue ink, a triangle, a portion of envelope from the mail this week, and as a bonus, instructions. I need to play around with the different images this week. I try to give it a go. Like I thought dreaming and the night sky could be for something associated with specific time of the day. This here is Donald Winnicott. Donald Winnicott is a famous psychoanalyst, and he said, "Play like dreams serves the function of self-realization." And I thought I would like to put the collage around this. Then I have the next one, rubber stamping in blue ink. I thought I used this rubber stamp with the stars on it. And I don't really have blue ink, so I thought I use this distress ink. It is bluish. And maybe, but I'm not really sure. These little stars there, they could be not underwater stars, but actually stars that are in the night sky. I'm not sure really if I want to use them, but maybe I can give it a go. Then an envelope. This envelope came in the mail this week, and I love the inside of this envelope. I think I will use this as the background for my card, and here, live your dream with a passion, I would like to use as an instruction. Let's start with gluing down the envelopes inside onto my index card. Just using ordinary glue stick again because it's paper on paper, and that works nicely even if I'm sending the finished collage through the mail all the way up to Germany to my mom. Just making sure that I'm really pressing it down so that especially the corners and the side is really, really glued to the index card. And just cutting it down to size. As I said, like this week is really different to my usual videos. I have mostly fairy tales, but this week I decided I will have a short story because Donald Winnicott is not really a fairy tale character, but I think it's ideal for a short story. I feel inspired by his quote, "Play like dreams serves the function of self-realization." And so I thought I will write a short story around the topic, like around a dream and so on. And then I realized even that while a fairy tale has a structure like writing about a dream, like I can go wild, and truly that's what happened this week. And yeah, so I hope you are curious to find out more. And yes, please leave me a comment. So I'm so curious to hear what you think about this week's short story. But for now, let's go back to the creation of this week's collage. I find it a little bit difficult. Sometimes I see the prompts, I find images, and the collage more or less finds its way into itself, like it has a life of its own. But this week I find challenging, like the triangle there. I wondered if it's the triangle of the prompt that on his top, because I thought triangle, how do I include triangles here? But I think I will fussy cut Donald Winnicott out, because it's I don't want his triangle ears on top there, and it still looks like a little bit like he has a square head. I will cut, I think, this little bit off there as well. So I don't know. Yeah, I make it a little bit rounder here. And also not so happy with the stars. The dream is something we do in the night, and the ink. Even with the ink, I have this problem. I never use distress ink on a rubber stamp. I don't even know if it is working. Here you can see this is a coaster, a glass coaster that I always use as the base for my stamping. So I thought that's the cheapest option. I got it from a op shop. And let's see if I use the blue distress ink on the dark background of the envelope, how visible the stars are, just to see if I want to have it on the postcard. Actually, no, it's not really visible at all. No, it's you hardly can see these are stars. It's difficult to come together. Okay, maybe I start with the quote, live your dreams with a passion. Maybe I play a little bit around with the ink, because somehow I need to include this in this week's collage. Maybe I can brush it over. It's still not visible. It's visible on the white paper. There it looks nice, but maybe I have a piece of the white paper. But if no, that's there. It has some blue ink. I think I will use it like that. Yep. While I continue fiddling around with this week's collage, you can lean back and listen to this week's short story. I hope you feel curious and ready to join me on this most bizarre short story adventure. I woke up with a start, my heart racing and my mind reeling from the most bizarre dream I'd ever had. As I fumbled for my dream journal and a pen filled with blue ink, I couldn't help but chuckle at the absurdity of it all. In my dream, I found myself at a peculiar party hosted by none other than the famous psychoanalyst Donald Winnicott. The twist? He was wearing a ridiculously large, multicolored, triangular party hat that seemed to defy the laws of physics. It wobbled precariously as he moved, threatening to topple at any moment. The party was held in what appeared to be a giant envelope, its papery walls adorned with blue ink stamped squares and triangles. Banners that read, "Live your dream with a passion," were hanging from the ceiling. Guests were sliding down from the envelope's flap as if it were some sort of bizarre water slide, landing in a pool of alphabet soup. Winnicott, in his signature gentle voice, was going around telling everyone, play, like dreams, serves the function of self-realization. But here's the kicker. Every time he said it, a tiny version of himself would pop out of his head, repeat the phrase in a high-pitched voice, and dive back in. I remember trying to navigate through the party, but my feet kept sticking to the floor, which seemed to be made of post-it notes. Each step I took left behind a little piece of paper with a random thought written on it. "Why am I here?" asked one. Learn to juggle flaming torches, said another. At some point, I found myself in a heated debate with a talking envelope about the merits of licking stems versus using a sponge. The envelope was adamant that tongue licking was the only way to go, citing the importance of putting your signature DNA into every letter you sent. As the night wore on, things got even weirder. Winnicott announced it was time for dream interpretation through interpretive dance. Suddenly, everyone at the party began twirling and leaping about, their movements supposedly representing their deepest, darkest dreams. I distinctly remember seeing a man doing the robot while shouting, "This represents my recurring dream about being trapped in a vending machine." Just as I was about to join in with my own dance, which would have undoubtedly been a masterpiece, I woke up. As I scribbled down the details in my journal, I couldn't help but laugh at the sheer ridiculousness of it all. But then, as I sat back and really thought about it, I realized there might be more to this dream than just nonsensical humor. The giant envelope could represent my desire to communicate something important, perhaps to myself. The banners urging me to live my dream with a passion might be my subconscious pushing me to pursue my goals more actively. Winnicott's presence, along with the famous quote about play and dreams, could be reminding me of the importance of maintaining a sense of playfulness and creativity in my life, even as an adult. The post-it note floor might symbolize all the little thoughts and ideas I have that I need to pay more attention to. As for the interpretive dream dance, well, maybe that's just my brain's way of telling me I need to loosen up a bit and not take everything so seriously. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that this seemingly nonsensical dream was actually a pretty accurate representation of my current state of mind. A mix of ambition, creativity, self-doubt, and a desperate need for more fun in my life. I decided then and there to take a page out of Dream Winnicott's book, or head as it were. I was going to approach my day with more playfulness. Pay attention to those little ideas that keep popping up, and maybe even sign up for a dance class. Who knows? Maybe interpretive dance is what I need. As I closed my journal, I couldn't help but smile. Who would have thought that a dream featuring a famous psychoanalyst in a ridiculous head could be so enlightening? I made a mental note to send a thank you card to my subconscious. Maybe even licking the stem, just in case that envelope had a point about my signature DNA. With a spring in my step and a grin on my face, I headed out to face the day, ready to live my dreams with passion. And maybe invest in a triangular party hat, just in case. That brings us to the end of the fairy tale, and let's get over the prompts one more time. So something associated with a specific time. Are the dreams day or night dreams? Famous person is Donald Winnicott. Rubber stamping in the blue ink are my stems around. Maybe rubber is pushing it a little bit, but at least it's blue ink. A triangle, definitely Winnicott's head. A portion of envelope is the entire background, and as a bonus instruction, live your dreams with a passion. I hope you enjoyed yourself today, and yes, please leave me a comment. I'm looking so forward to it.